One thing that's annoying is when people tell you that suffering makes you stronger. Going through things that psychologically break you, that destroy your confidence, that make you not really believe in yourself, going years without having a woman, going years without a hug, a touch, or a kiss, that these things make you stronger. But I disagree. I feel like they make you colder. They make you more observant to the it makes you more observant to the evils of the world and to the people around you, right? Because you see people who are successful, they're wealthy, they had a good life their whole life, and they're not what you would call weak because of their economic stabilization and because of they have so many connections and so many friends and family and associates that back them up. So when you suffer for a long time, it doesn't make you stronger, man. You know, for some people, it may make them stronger in certain circumstances, but it doesn't make you like a strong person in a good way because you start to see all the evils in the world. When you've been suffering your entire life, your family doesn't give a damn about you. That girl in your class who you're looking at and you're just like, damn, I wish she would just take notice of me. She doesn't even acknowledge your existence, no matter how bad you try to get her attention, try to talk to her. Every time you talk to her, she says the minimal amount of words to make you leave her alone because you're just not physically attractive. That does something psychologically to your mind. Suffering does not make you stronger. In my opinion, it makes you weaker because true joy and true happiness. Have you ever seen somebody with true joy and happiness? Have you ever seen somebody where all their dreams came true and you see like they just attract all this positivity around them? They keep having some of the most best life experiences that you can ever imagine. Yeah, you have some of the worst life experience that they can never imagine. They'll never know how it feels like to be socially isolated and awkward, to be kind of the autistic, to be schizophrenic, to hear voices in your head, to be attacked by random people who you don't even know, to go into work every day at a job that you can't even stand, and the people at the job make your life a living hell. You have a boss that's arrogant for no reason. He may be a Walmart manager, but he feels like he's God, or the demiurge, but he's just an agent of the demiurge. And these people are put there in your life to stop your progress, whatever progress you think you have, whether it's economic progress, psychological progress, or even spiritual progress. They're really they're put there on purpose to destroy you. When you take a dog, right? Let's say you take an abused animal. Like I don't know if you guys ever adopted animals at a shelter or whatever, but usually animals that are abused, they look at you with fearful eyes, because their last owner abused them. And if those animals don't find any love or any type of happiness, they eventually just can't be rehabilitated. But yeah, sure, some of them can be rehabilitated, but it may take some time. It won't be instantaneous. And people like us that's been going through it for such a long time, a lot of us, bro, we're beyond the point of rehabilitation and revitalization. We're beyond that point. We've been through so much hell in life, so much crap in life that, you know, trying to rehabilitate us is like a mission impossible mission. It's not something that's easy. We need like guys like us. We need to have a girl that we actually like come into our life, hug us, kiss us, tell us it's going to be all right. Make us feel alive, make us feel like men, make us feel like humans. How can you feel like a human if you never had or you didn't have a lot of sexual experiences with women in your life? I don't care what anybody says. And then people that tell you, oh man, suffering makes you stronger. Oh, just believe in God. And I'm like, believe in God. The demiurge is the evil one that created all of this. He's the one that made guys like us short, guys like us not attractive, guys like us. He put it's not an accident that random people attack you out of nowhere. And they attack you viciously, but they'll never attack you in your face. Those people are sent by the demiurge to make your life a living hell because of a loose energetic manifestational frequency. Like people like us, bro, we'll go through losing our entire family within a couple of years. We go from being a neat, isolated from the world, then facing people passing away in our family, then being devastated, and then having random people who you don't even know fixated on you. You're like, who the fuck is this person? Right? And you go to your job every single day and you got to deal with the things and the stressors of that job. And you have to because you cannot give up, because once you give up, you're going to be in a very bad position. And you want to give praise to God. Oh, praise Jesus, praise the Lord. It's like, praise him for what? For him, because he's going to send you to hell when you die? Look around, you're already in hell. Is your family member that you love here? They're gone. How did they pass away? It was due to the negligence of the medical staff who didn't care because they looked at their skin color configuration and didn't provide adequate care because they have their own racial biases. That happens when you look like me. That's another thing. When you look a certain way, people judge you and treat you a certain way. You can work your hardest in your youth. You can work down to your bones. And then once you get into that hospital, if the doctor doesn't like you, they don't have to try to say that. They don't have to try to save your life if they don't want, and no one would know it. You know, medical negligence is hard to prove in a lot of cases unless it's a clear-cut case. But if they quote-unquote tried and it's the best they're doing, they can just, oh, his heart just gave out. But in actuality, they may have gave you a little bit of extra medicine. And then like the hospital covers for each other, you know, like the hospital, the staff, everybody, because they don't want no big lawsuit that's going to affect them, right? So you live in a world that's ran on deceit, that's ran on the pain and the suffering of others. And a lot of times you don't even do nothing to people. You just be sitting minding your business, and people seem to obsess with you. They seem to treat you like you're some superstar, like you're some celebrity, right? But in a negative, twisted, weird way. You go to your job and you wake up and you feel that dread before you go to work because you really don't want to go. You don't want to go. And people will try to gaslight you and call you lazy. Oh, you don't want to work. You're lazy. You're not lazy. You're not lazy. You're not crazy. You just don't feel like doing something that you don't want to do for no benefits, right? There's a reason why if you go on TikTok, you see a lot of World War II, like people talking about like the Waffen SS and talking about old school Germany back in the days of the Führer. It's because a lot of young men are missing something in their lives. They're missing a sense of belonging. They're missing a sense of, something to fight for, something to believe in. And they see a time less than 100 years ago, or maybe 100 years now, where you see men who are dressed up in these suits by Hugo Boss. They're walking in military order. They're fighting for something that they believe in. They have discipline, they have intelligence, they have style, they have like things that today the modern world has robbed from modern men. The world tells you to suffer. Meanwhile, the people telling you that suffering is good are not even suffering at all. So what the hell do they know about pain? What the hell do they know about isolation? What the hell do they know about mental degradation? What do you know about being in a situation where you're already trapped and you keep getting attacked? That right there showed me everything that I needed to know, that the God of this world is the demiurge, the being that feeds off our negative energetic manifestational frequency, right? To this day, man, you can go online, right? And you can see people talking about, oh, I thank God for this. And, it was God. Oh, I believe in God. And all these people are broke with nothing and they're struggling, right? And the things that they do get is because of other people's help. Somebody had to sign, that apartment lease for you, or somebody had to do this for you. Somebody had to give you a loan. Meanwhile, there's people that don't even believe in God like that. They don't even believe in crap like that, right? And they get everything handed to them. They're able to make their own anime. I mean, look at Corey Kenshin. Now, I heard some people don't like his anime. I heard the anime is not really the best, but still, he has the ability to create his own worlds, to create his own anime, Meanwhile, somebody like me, who's been working on different type of animes for years, even though I never finished one, but I have so many ideas, right? That are like halfway written, but it's just not finished because I got depressed and I got miserable, or I ran out of kush and I just lost motivation once I ran out of kush, right? But somebody like a Corey Kenshin, they can get whatever they want. They have support. They can leave YouTube for a few years and nobody's going to bother them. No one's going to, people may say, oh, where you at? This, that, and people are begging for his content, right? That's how I know you have a big fan base when you're gone for a few years and people are still talking about you and you come back and every video you make gets millions of views and you make millions of dollars. But what I don't understand about people on that level, and I'm not talking about Corey Kenshin himself, I'm just talking about people on that level when they talk about how they're suffering from mental illness. I'm like, mother effer, take a walk in my shoes and you're going to see real suffering. Imagine not having any money. Imagine not having any type of power, any wealth or influence, or not having the ability to really change your life into the way that you want it to go. A lot of these streamers and these YouTubers be complaining about nothing because they're spoiled brats. It's just the truth. When you were making money as a teenager, getting paid millions of dollars from making silly YouTube videos, and you're getting paid millions. I'm not saying thousands or tens of thousands. I'm talking about millions. There's a difference. These top YouTubers, when what's his name, Rice Gum was making videos, when David Dobrik was making videos, and other people, and people even today, some of these people make $1 million off of ad revenue alone, right? Because they have so many fans and people rewatch their videos and watch. And while people don't just watch their videos once, they rewatch it, and they buy their merchandise, they buy this, they support their business. Like, these people become super fans, but not in a negative way. They don't become inverted fans, right? They become just natural fans, and they love these people. They love these people's work, quote unquote. And these people talk about suffering, and then some of these rich streamers be talking about, it's all a mindset, bro. It was a mindset. It's like a mindset, and then you find out he had a rich father that had connections to YouTube or connections to the Mossad or something like that, and it's like, okay, now I see. You had help. You had certain advantages that other people don't. Suffering, for real, it changes you. You could have been like a cool, nice person at one point in life. And then if you suffer enough, your mind is going to snap. Your mind is going to break because there's only so much you can really take. And people don't really understand this. People will call you a complainer. People will talk all this crap about you, but they never walked a day in your shoes. Hell, they can't walk a day in your shoes. They just can't. And then you have, when it comes to your parents, or when it comes to something like that, right? When it comes to being what you feel like a disappointment to, like, your parents, right? Because let's face it, guys in our position, you're going to feel like a failure simply because of looking at the world and comparing yourself. You don't have this by a certain age. You're not married and you're in your 40s, or you're almost in your 40s, or you're almost in your 30s, or you're in your mid 20s and you're not married, and you're not, like, it's like at the time you're 25, the world wants you to have a wife, a house, and children. And if you're 25 years old and you don't have a wife, a house, and children, and if you don't have that many, sexual alleviation experiences, the world just throws you off as nothing. And it's wrong to do that. But that's the weird world that we live in today. We live in a world that it thrives off the isolation and the depression of those who feel powerless or are powerless. So when somebody tells you that suffering makes you stronger, no, suffering just makes you a more obedient servant. Because the people that run the world, what do they suffer? What do the elite suffer, right? Hell, there's people that are like, that are not even elite level, but they have a lot of money, right? And their suffering is like, oh crap, I gotta come up with money to pay for the yacht. But they already have businesses in place that automatically pays for the yacht's maintenance and stuff like that. They have things in place that pay for that, and like that'll be their stressor. Oh crap, I gotta have somebody clean the yacht. Oh man, oh yeah, that's right, I gotta have somebody repair the private jet engine. And it's like, wow, that's called rich person problems. When, like, like you're stressed out about your private jet. It's like, mother F, what? And then those people will say that's suffering. That's not suffering. Are you kidding me? Suffering is when you have no money to eat, when you don't have no woman to greet, when you don't have nothing and you're trapped in your room as a NEET. That's suffering. When everywhere you go, people are talking about jobs. You got to apply here, or you should find a job, and you got to apply here, apply there, apply this, apply that, apply this, apply that. That's suffering, man. That's what a lot of people that's why a lot of people who haven't really suffered for real, they tend to be like, some of these people, they tend to be like bullies in a way, because they haven't really got punched in the mouth. So they're able to just talk crap, do this, do that, but nobody's really stepped to them in real life and actually sized them up. So that's why they feel like they have the ability to try to bully you when they can't even touch you, when they can't even be in the same room as you. Because all that shit they're talking, they would never say it to your face. They won't. They're saying that, but they know they wouldn't, because they're the ones that attacked you. That shows weakness. When you can't just mind your own business and leave somebody alone, that shows weakness. That shows you have an affinity to this person, Because if you truly don't like something, you don't interact with it. I can't stand Synthetic Man. I don't like Asmon and Gold, right? I don't like them at all. So I do not watch their content. Their content may pop up every once in a while, and if it's something like, controversial or something, whatever, I may or may not click it. You know, like I can't even count the amount of times I've clicked on an Asmongold video. But I'm not about to watch Asmongold and do this about. I'm not about to do all that because I just don't care enough to, right? And also, it's like when you tried to be a good person, when you tried to, be a gentleman, because society taught us to be a nice gentleman, open doors for females and make sure you're a proper man and make sure you're this and make sure you're that. When you try to do that and it backfires on you because you were that nice guy opening doors for girls, hell, even doing girls' homework, you know, being nice and respectful, then you see somebody who's a total opposite of that, who's a bad boy, right? Who does all type of evil activities, who talks to girls any way he wants. He has confidence and he gets a lot of girls, and the girls that he talks to, they know that he's talking to other girls. And that makes them want him even more. You see, a lot of girls want what they can never like really have, right? Which means they want the Chads and the Tyrones, or they want something that they may have had one time. Because you can be a 6 out of 10 female, and you can sleep with a Chad or a Tyrone. And then once they sleep with that Chad and Tyrone, they feel like that's the standard that every guy should be. And that's not how that works. Meanwhile, a 6 out of 10 guy, unless he's wealthy, more than likely he's not going to sleep with a 10 out of 10 Stacy. That's very unlikely. That's like as unlikely as hitting the lottery because both give you the same damn feeling, right? So when you've been suffering for such a long time, it destroys your motivation, it destroys your creation, it destroys your innovation because you've been suffering for such a long time. Suffering does not make you stronger. Suffering makes you more subservient, and suffering makes you weaker. It destroys your spirit. It makes you not want to do anything. It makes you want to quote unquote rot in your room, as people say, oh, you're rotting in your room. Well, how can this person talk about me when this person's doing, other things, that are just as evil, or wicked. Like, at least I'm not bothering nobody, you know. At least I'm not doing nothing strange for a little bit of change. I'm in my room trying not to go crazy. You want to mess with me still? But if I snap on you in real life and, then all of a sudden I'm the bad guy and you're the one that kept fucking with me, right? Understand. People bully who they think they can get away. When people do something like that to you, when they bully you, talk crap about you, it's because they think they can get away with it. Oh yeah, we got away with it. Oh, let's hide the evidence so we'll never get caught. We know we're the ones that did it, but ha ha ha, no one's ever gonna know. But the minute somebody finds out and they get exposed, and let's say the police get involved, then they want to, I got screenshots that he said this, and he did this, he did that. Well, what did you do to him in the first place? Didn't you attack him first when he didn't even know who you were? Didn't you attack him first? He didn't attack you. You attacked it. You started it. And screenshots of what? Somebody defended themselves because you attacked them? Then after that, they tried their best to cut off any communication with you because they don't want to be bothered with you. And you still try to put them in your life. How crazy are you? You don't like somebody, but you're so obsessed with that person. If you don't like somebody, why are you so obsessed? You're a grown ass man, and you are grown ass men that are watching another grown man talk about somebody he doesn't even know. You guys are fucking pathetic. And you need to get them hands on you. That's what you need. You need a fist right to your jaw. That's what you need. Because you're not a man. You're doing what women do. That's what women do. Oh, girl, look at him. Oh, she thinks she's cute in that dress. Oh, the girl. And they sit there and talk about the girls online. That's what females do. Men don't do that. What's wrong with you? What if your job found out that you were trolling people online? What would you do then? What if your family found out they're trolling grown men who you don't know online? What if that person stepped to you in real life? What would you do? Think it's a game? Hey, I'm trolling. Till you get socked in that mother effing mouth and you know it ain't a game then, huh? People are so lucky. People like us don't just form some type of branch. I just say that, right? Because a lot of us, bro, we've been going through things that will make other people go insane. You've been going through things that it's not even possible to even go through without losing your mind or losing a piece of yourself. Don't you guys understand that a lot of people who see us in this position, not only that they don't care, but they want us to suffer, right? They want us to feel this way. They want us to suffer. And when you go through years of psychological deterioration, and psychological obliteration, when you go through years of it, you're not going to have the confidence, you're not going to have the motivation, you're not going to even have the energy or the synergy or even the propensity to do the things that you always wanted to do, because you know that for the most part it's probably going to fail. For the most part, the things that you love to do is probably not going to be like you're never going to do them. I know a lot of us want to be able to travel the world and do this and do that, and it's like I want to save up and travel the world and go to different countries as well, right? But it's like, how long is that going to take? What if like they start a world war, and then you're forced to be drafted in that, and then like you had plans of going around the world and maybe going to different countries and maybe trying to find a girlfriend or something like that in another country, but then all of a sudden your country goes to war and you're drafted, and now you find yourself on the front lines of battle in some cold trench somewhere, right? Engaging enemies and dodging enemy fire and artillery rounds, or artillery shells. It's brutal, but life can do that to you because this world, like, we live in a world where morality means nothing. People are not moral. People don't have no morality about them at all, right? We live in a world where people prey on the weak. They literally do. And that's just designed in the system. That's not just people. I mean, people say, oh, people are evil. Yeah, people are evil because most people are NPCs and Hylics that are placed there by the demiurge, A lot of people don't, I don't like when you get spiritual. It's like, just because you're ignorant of spiritual things doesn't mean I have to be. I know what I've been through. I've seen supernatural things. I've encountered supernatural things, So I'm not going to sit here and argue with somebody who's a fool, point blank. Go whistle in the woods at night. If you're Native American, you know why that's a bad idea, right? Huh? Oh, I don't believe in the spirits. You're being too spiritual. It's like being too spiritual. So you think all this is just? You think this life was just created for just no purpose, no reason? You're called a Hylic. You're there to cause confusion. I'm from the divine light. I'm there to tell the truth. The truth is that we are divine sparks. Humans are not just random things, right? We're not just, humans are just wild animals. Some people are wild animals. And yes, in the flesh, we are animals. We have to poop, we have to pee, we throw up, we get sick, we get depressed, we get miserable. Yes, we are animals in that sense. But what makes us different is we have an eternal soul, a soul, a soul. Not all of us, some of us. And the ones who have a soul, because the ones who have a soul, everybody gravitates to them. Whether it's negative attention or positive attention, they always gravitate towards you. They're always talking about you. They're always focused on you. That's how you know you're special and you're chosen, because they don't do that to anybody. They don't just they don't just attack anybody. They attack who they deem worthy, right? They attack somebody who they think is worthy. They don't just attack anybody. Because if they would attack anybody, it would be attacked. They're focusing on you because you're great, because you're special, right? I miss Babylon Loner. I miss Tawana. I used to watch his videos all the time to cope. But the same trolls who trolled me and doxed me or whatever did the exact same thing to him, and nobody has done nothing to these people. It's like these people are targeting your favorite black pillars, and people do nothing. You guys know exactly who's doing it. You can just go on their channel and see there's them. They have the evidence all right there. They're not even smart to hide evidence. They're just so stupid. And no one does nothing to these people. They seen somebody like a babbling loner who's getting, who has multiple successful channels, getting thousands and thousands of views each video, is popular, speaking for the people, speaking from his heart, speaking from his soul, and they get jealous and want to troll and dox him. And then the fans and the people that watch him just, we don't know what happened to him. Really? You guys really don't know? Really? And then the person that's doing it just gets away scot-free, right? That's bullshit, and that has to stop. When you're not bothering somebody, that person, like, if somebody's not bothering you and you don't bother that person, what's wrong with you? People like that, they really, really, really need to, get in the ring. Get in the ring with that man one-on-one in box or something, right? And I guarantee you'll shut the fuck up then. And if the police get involved, which they, if the police get involved and find out that you're cyber stalking somebody, you're harassing this person, you got videos and backup videos of this person, you're constantly focused on this person. And you impersonated this person, you got them doxxed, you got them kicked out their house, you're doing this, you're doing that, and you're sitting there laughing, thinking it's a motherfucking game, but you just committed a crime. You try to hide your IP address with different VPNs and thinking you're getting away with it, One day the rock will fall in the water, and that's all I'll say. But in this world, man, the suffering you go through, it's pretty much pointless except for the demiurge and the archons. Because when you go through things, when you go through the suffering, when you go through the pain, when you go through the isolation, you release negative energetic manifestational frequency, meaning that you release negative emotions, you release negative attention, you release it. And when you release this negative attention, these invisible, these archons, these evil demons, they feed on it. They feed on your fear. They feed on your anxiety. They feed on it. Look at your Christian God in the Bible and tell me that that's a good God that you want to serve for eternity. You want to sit there in his quote unquote heaven, which is a prison, and you want to sit there and kiss his ass for eternity? The same God who gave you a life of hell? The same God who trapped your eternal divine spark and put you in the flesh prison and made you go through some of the worst hell that you've ever could imagine and ever been through in life? That's the God that you want to worship and get on your knees and praise? Really? Really? So why do you why? Why do you worship this God? Oh, because I don't want to go to hell, because I want to go to heaven. It's like you don't even have critical thought or analysis. I'm a saved person. You're saved. So when you're saved, you automatically know everything. Some people that say they're saved are the most evil people in the world. I'm saved and you're evil, doing evil shit. I'm saved. I'm saved. Saved from what? I'm saved. I'm going to go to heaven because the pastor said I'm saved. You guys are so brainwashed. This is why you're called a Hylic and an NPC. You'll never make it to the true heaven. You'll never make it to the pleroma. You'll never make it. Because first of all, you don't even come from that. We're not cut from the same spiritual cloth. You're a servant and an agent for the demiurge, while I'm from Sophia and the divine spark and the divine light. Point blank, period. And like I said, I don't agree with everything in Gnosticism because I feel like, how come those beings don't help us? How come Sophia? How come the monad? How come they don't just actually step in and really help us? And people have different many experiences saying, oh, well, because you chose your life. And I didn't choose a damn mother effing thing, because I would have never chose, first of all, I would have never chose half the crap that was randomized for me in this in a customer in this character creation. Do you really think that I would have chose to be somebody that's not wealthy and not powerful? Who in their right mind with in this world where money governs everything? Who in their right mind would want to be born into a poor family? Who want to deal with all type of psychological issues? Who want to have to go to a 9-to-5 every day that you despise? That's called suffering, and it doesn't make you stronger. Suffering makes you freaking weaker. If it made you stronger, then everybody in the world who's in poverty would have rose up and changed the governmental systems and structures that are in place. But that doesn't happen, does it? It doesn't happen because the more suffering you get, the less power you have. The less suffering you endure, the more power you have. That's why the powerful, the rich, and the wealthy, and the mighty, they don't suffer like how we suffer. Right? They don't. And this world gives you just a little enough so you don't just cause outright rebellion. And they give certain people, more things, and then they give some people less things. Like this universe will give to it who it wants. Remember, in the Bible it says this: I, the Lord, control the light and I control the darkness. I, the Lord, do good and I do evil. I do both these things. That's what the God of your Bible said. Look at the story of Job. Look at the Tower of Babel. Look at all that. That should tell you something about this God that you believe in. Right? And I know to some people it's fairy tale nonsense and they don't want to believe it. That's fine. But if you pass away and you find out that you were wrong, then you're going to be in a bad situation, right? And I don't mean that going to hell, because we're already in hell. But what I mean is that you need to find out how to escape to the pleroma. How to escape to the pleroma is not really engage in negative things that cause negative energetic manifestation or frequency. You have to have a mindset that's above engaging in negative things, because negative things and negative people, they're put there to drag you back down to a lower frequency. They want your attention. They want you to react. They want you to release that energy because it feeds these evil archonic beings. It feeds these demons. They get pleasure off of your reaction. You know, when you're at work and people keep teasing you, whatever, and you finally snap and lose it, they get pleasure from that. As sickening as that is, but people get pleasure from that, right? It's absolutely brutal, man.